Hey everybody, it's Jim Hegemeyer with the Leslie Wells Realty, and over on the other side is my friend
Tom Collier.
Yo.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate every one of our viewers. And today,
Tom, we got a May, man. We're excited about this. Help me out. Heather Rumke.
You got it.
See? Heather is our full-time travel agent. She lives right here in North River. And I'm glad you're here this morning because we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects besides food and cars and music. We're going to talk about travel.
I'm excited to talk about it too.
See? This is your
Naturally.
thing. Yeah.
I like food too.
Cool.
we're going to work food into this.
I'm sure we will.
Yes, we will.
Heather, thanks for coming in this morning. You know, you have a lot of titles, okay? And I saw coach and I saw attorney, but now we're travel agent because this is your passion, I'm certain, about travel and exploring domestic and international, probably, right?
Yeah, domestic and international. And thank you for the wonderful introduction and for having me here today. I will say that I am a hybrid of many things. So I wear a lot of hats and have over the years. Attorney is one of them,
Okay.
Teacher, coach, all of those over the past couple of years. But most of all, I'm currently full-time travel agent.
Love
And yes, we still exist.
it. So,
It's always good to travel with your attorney.
Hopefully you don't need them though. You're in
Yes.
travel. That's the key.
so we do land travel, cruise travel, and it's more than just point A to point B, right?
Yeah, you know, travel these days, and I'll just say over the past couple of years, a little more in depth, and I have the capability to do both cruise and land-based travel.
Okay.
And sometimes they kind of tie hand in hand. For example, if you've got a cruiser going internationally, they want to tack on a pre-cruise stay, post-cruise stay over in, say, Athens, Greece. Doesn't that sound lovely?
Yes, yes.
Makes you hungry for some Greek food, doesn't it, Tom?
I've never been there, but yes. I don't think I've been outside of well, I have been outside of the U.S. one time.
Once? And where was that to?
Cozumel,
Oh, Cozumel.
Okay.
Do you remember where you stayed in Cozumel?
on the cruise ship.
There you go.
On the cruise ship. Very popular port too for
Yes.
cruisers, especially in the Tampa Bay area. So we have a lot of different ports here in Florida, and a lot of them do go and make a pit stop over in Cozumel. Yep.
So on cruises, okay, the big thing that they sell are the excursions, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things.
One of the things, well, yeah. So there's always a menagerie of different excursions. I mean, do you get involved in that, or do you recommend certain excursions on certain cruise lines? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and absolutely. I will say that people cruise for different reasons. So some people go for the itinerary. So they want to go to the ports that the cruise ship stops at. Some people like to go just for the ship experience in and of itself. Well, some go based on price, let's be real.
Or food.
And if you're a
see?
foodie, yeah.
I hear it's all you can eat.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, you want to eat, you want to get your fill, there you go. But going back to the excursion,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I do get involved. The supplier, i.e. the cruise lines, do offer various excursions in the different ports, as well as we have a supplier that we work directly with for private excursions and some off the beaten path ones too, if people are looking for that. But yeah, good to plan in advance with excursions. A lot of them do sell out. And it's also good to know where you're going and the types of things you like to do.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that.
Okay.
Especially, I know we were talking the other day. This is just a little tidbit for all of you viewers right here. We touched on Alaska. So we're about to hit up right now. Here it is, April, the beginning of Alaska cruise season.
Tracy, I'm not sure we want to talk about this. No. Tracy wants to go on an Alaskan cruise.
So do I.
So do a lot of people. It's on their, call it bucket list, wish list, life list, whatever. But excursions are really big in Alaska because most of the people go there for the environment and the experience in and of itself. Being Floridians here, we don't see a lot of the landscape and
Right.
the animals and the different things that Alaska, the last frontier has to offer. So it's really good and helpful to have a travel agent on your side who can guide you on those excursions in those different port areas that may suit your needs. So for example, let me ask you, I know you like the outdoors, you both are big on RVing and doing stuff like that. So maybe hiking the glaciers may be something you may be interested in. Or if you're like, hey, hiking, not my vibe, not my thing, whale watching.
Driving the glaciers is right up my
Not the
alley.
same, Tom.
Hey, look, you can drive. Alaska is drivable. You can drive Alaska. Yeah. I'm working right now with some people that want to chase the northern lights. How's that for you?
Ooh,
The
yes.
Northern Lights, they want to chase the Aurora Borealis.
Yes.
And so
Are they real?
they exist.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I've seen-
Fairbanks,
I've always seen pictures, never seen the actual.
yeah, and Fairbanks, Alaska is one of the top places in the world to see the Northern Lights. So
There you have
can
it.
do that by land too, but there's different things. So yes, I help people with
wheels are
excursions.
turning. Ooh.
Yeah, giving you all kinds of ideas, right?
Leslie's going to be sorry we invited her over here today.
Where's Tom and Jim?
Yeah, I haven't seen them all year.
Where's Heather? Oh, they now turned this podcast into an adventure. Now we're going to be on the road. She got an idea.
Yeah, there you go.
I got an
Yes,
idea.
yes.
We can
Podcast
take
on the
the
road.
podcast on the road.
It sounds like a tax write-off too.
Hey, look, that'll be for the accountant in the financial services department next podcast you have. So yeah, ask them about that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. No, recently I was involved with booking a trip, a multi-airplane, multi-stop, multi-faceted trip from California, from here to California to Ohio to another state, and multi-airlines and multiple stops. And it gave me a headache trying to set this up.
The airfare, yeah, gives me a headache too.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So is this something that a travel agent, should I just call Heather and say, hey, here's what I want to do, handle it?
Well, it's nice. It's nice to have a travel agent in your back pocket.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I can't come in your suitcase physically with you. It's nice to have one at least in your back pocket.
So-
Cell phone number to call. So I understand airfare, airlines. The past couple of years have been a hot mess.
Oh, yeah.
The delays, the cancellations, the constant changes. I will say this with air in particular, it's always good to book direct. I'm just going to put it out there to the
Okay.
universe. If there's anything that happens to go wrong or any delay, cancellation, you're going to be the first point of contact they notify.
So these third-party companies, not so much.
Look, they do it. Even I book mine direct. I'll just
Okay.
be quite honest.
Okay.
Now I do track my clients' flights for them, and if I see a change or see anything, I'll let them know. However, I find it best to just go direct these days with the airline. So if you're at the airport and something happens, you can speak directly with them. Otherwise, you're having to go through a third party who's still having to go back to the airline, and not all of them are open 24/7. So
Yeah, so if there's a problem or a refund, and you can't talk to the airline, so no, you have to go back to the third party.
sometimes there's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah,
And let's
yeah,
be,
yeah.
time is money, and we want to be as efficient as possible. So that's with air. I know it can be frustrating, but that's my 2 cents worth with that.
So I'm asking most of our guests, how did you do during the pandemic, during the lockdown, when nobody's allowed to go anywhere? What happened then? How did you survive? What's your success story through
Yeah,
the
what's the
pandemic?
success story? So we're going to go backwards. I always try to look forward,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
reality of it is we all went through everything, and
Yeah.
travel was no different and got hit extremely hard.
Right.
I'll say travel, tourism, hospitality industry in and of itself,
Right.
and everyone connected to it. So for me, as a full-time travel agent, was to make sure and ensure my customers were taken care of, whatever that meant.
Right.
If that meant me sitting on the phone I was sometimes on the phone with one customer and the supplier for over 4.5 hours,
See?
waiting just to handle something. Some days it could have been even longer to be on a hold, but I would say 4.5 hours was about the longest. And I'm trying to get answers and resolutions because this was a case of first impression, as we like to say in the legal field, a case of first impression. So for me, it was about customer service and me making sure that my client base felt comfortable, understood what was going on with their trip, with their money, with refunds, with future
Sure.
cruise credits, whatever it may be, and keep them up to date. Because what may have been today, guess what? Next week, completely different
Changed.
set of rules.
Yeah.
Completely changed. So
Yeah.
it's trying for me to continue to educate myself on what the constant changes were going on through that and keeping everyone informed as often as possible. And so with that, Helen, I started doing virtual cruise nights. So it's not uncommon for
Love it. Love it.
for someone to do a virtual cruise night, but this was more of an educational type of thing. So we would get online. When everyone's locked down or everyone's in, we have the virtual digital world. So utilizing that, keeping everyone up to date, and just game plan for moving forward. And social media has been a huge success with that. So I'm forever grateful.
See, and the bottom line is, here we are.
And here we are, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So survivors. Yeah.
Survivors,
Yeah,
survivors
you're
are continuing to flourish, and and it's through the support. And if I may, just go into a community support. So North River Community Support, the support of Leslie Wells,
Mm-hmm.
all of you to continue with the community. Leslie Wells is really big with that, and real estate and travel kind of go hand in hand actually, because being in the state of Florida, have seen our great state has had a lot of people move into the area.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of travel, a lot of tourism, but a lot of people move in, and that's where real estate comes in. They're going to need a place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need a place to lay their head. And the great thing about it is it kind of goes hand in hand.
So we already live in paradise.
That's right, we do.
Okay, and we travel around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is still home. I mean, home is paradise. Who knew? There, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people come to see where we live.
And we have,
So-
and this area specifically
Yeah.
is one of the top growing areas in the nation.
How about that? Yeah.
And who can blame them?
So-
Let's be real.
So can you help us with that? I have guests coming into town, and they want to do the touristy things, and
Sure.
and perhaps the place to stay, and
Yeah.
where to go, and what to do. So kind of a reverse travel agent, as we have guests coming in. Can you help us with that?
Yes, absolutely. And I do that often for Leslie Wells realtors and their customers coming in to look at properties and do stuff.
Yeah.
So accommodations, you want to stay local, you want to stay on the beach, you want to go to Orlando, to Disney World, and you want to package together, you want to jump on a cruise afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the great thing about where we live. You can hit Moat Marine and go over to Sarasota
Right.
if you want to. You can hit Anna Maria Island. You can go fishing North River if you want to go up the street and do that.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how much time you have, what your budget is, and what you like to do. Yeah.
I'm seeing here lately that the Airbnb and the VRBOs are coming under fire lately. There's a lot of communities that are pushing back on the Airbnb and the VRBOs because they don't want their neighborhoods turning into hotels. And I'm seeing articles regularly now about sections of cities and things of that nature putting an end to allowing people to use their home as an Airbnb or a VRBO.
Either that or they're limiting the length of time someone can stay there or the amount of time per year.
Right.
And it's not just in our state, but Hawaii is a big one too.
Oh, really?
A lot, because you got to think Hawaii is a big destination as well, and people want to go there and rent, and the people have pushed back on that too. So it's not uncommon, So with the Airbnb, and a lot of it too is liability. So there's a lot of liability when it comes to vetting the people and doing stuff. So
Is there a high demand for?
I personally don't handle Airbnbs and VRBOs. I refer them out to wonderful local people
Sure.
in the North River area who have their property management companies and can handle those types of things. But the demand's going to be there as long as there's inventory and availability.
Heather, what's one of the most obscure places that you've worked with, where you've set up travel to? I mean, I have a friend that is in Budapest right now on vacation.
Yeah, in Budapest, Hungary. So I'll tell you about Budapest. A lot of people love to river cruise. So going on the Danube River, a lot of them will start in Passau or start in Budapest and go up or down the river depending on which area.
Right.
So it's not uncommon. It's what's unique and obscure to you, Budapest may not be to my friend Christy. Hey, if you're watching, she's from Hungary, she's
Wendy?
from Budapest actually. So what's obscure, is different to different people. And it may be staying in an ice igloo in Finland or Iceland. It may be hiking up, the largest waterfall in the world. It may be going on an African safari.
So you can actually stay in an igloo?
Yes.
Ooh.
An ice dome is what they call it. Let me preface ice dome.
Ice dome.
Ice dome. Oh yeah, you can stay underwater too. Did you know they have underwater places you can stay? Yeah. You can even eat at a restaurant. I had a customer. Hi Michelle, if you're on. She she ate under the water in the Maldives in a restaurant.
All right, bucket list. Yeah.
So yeah, you can do it. Obscure, I say just interesting, and the world's your oyster. So whatever you can imagine, chances are you probably can do it.
We did Tracy and I did the Rhine River, the romantic Rhine River
Yeah,
cruise.
romantic Rhine. They do castles of the Rhine.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. So, Yep.
Yeah, because the river cruises and the river stuff gets you right into the city center.
Right.
Yeah. Even as much as if you want a private tour of the Louvre or you want a private tour of stuff of different places, we can make that happen. So, yeah.
Heather. Yeah. Yes. So, how do we contact you? How do we get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Good question. I love to talk to people. However, I do ask to email me and let's schedule a time, jump on a phone consultation and chit chat and learn more about what you're looking for.
Okay.
I'm also on social media. So I have a Facebook page
Okay.
called Heather Loves Travel. Yeah.
That'll be a graphic on we'll see here. So at heather.com.
It pops up in
Very cool.
my face.
Heather, thanks for coming in this morning. What a pleasure. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you both for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Jim Hagemeyer, Leslie Wells Realty, and my friend.
Realtor Tom, Leslie Wells Realty.
All right. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.